Hello guys, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into a previous video that I had posted on the premium Thinline. I wanted to compare the premium Thinline physically to the Crossway Heirloom Omega, which is here on the left. So in my previous video, which you guys can go over and see, and I'll try to put that up in the corner, you'll notice that I highly praise the premium Thinline that's made in China over the Omega Heirloom that was made in the Netherlands. Now, like I've said before, the China prints get a bad reputation, and most of that is real and that is legit, but this one Bible is really good in China. It's really well made, and then the quality of the Netherlands is always good. But I don't think that it's as good as the premium Thinline. So we're just going to compare the Omega and the premium Thinline and see which one's better, because they're very similar. So looking at both of them, they're about the same size. This one's, the Omega is just under 7 wide and just under 10. And then if you can see that I won't even measure the premium Thinline because it's about the same size. Putting them over top of each other, you can see that they're very, very similar. We got the Omega on the left and then the premium Thinline on the right. And you can see that the premium Thinline is just a little bit thicker, but they're very, very similar. It looks like the premium Thinline might have a little bit more of a yap. So I'm not sure if that is going to change the text block, but they're very, very close. Look at that. Both have very beautiful spines. This is the old Crossway logo. This is a little bit older Omega, but it's what I've seen. This is the same quality as the Netherlands, or I mean, as the new Omega. They're both made in the Netherlands, but this is the same quality as the new Netherlands Omega. And then here's the newer logo without the circle for ESV. Okay, so first comparing goat skin. So looking at the goat skin, you can see that there's a major difference. This Omega is very nice. There's no question that it's a very high quality, goat skin, but it's not as pebbly. It's kind of has a smooth texture. It's very easy to run the hands over because it's so smooth. And you can even see on the spine, it even gets more, kind of has that kind of smoothness over it. Kind of almost seems like it's an ironed down goat skin, which I don't believe it is. Okay, and then you look at the premium Thinline, and it doesn't fall out of your hand. Like, this is slippery. This feels like it's going to slip out of my hand when I'm holding it. This has a lot of grip to it. It has kind of like a rubber feel to it. And it has a lot more pebbles, pebbly grain. It's not smooth. It has texture. It's like, doesn't feel like it's going to slip. And you can even see on the spine how different it is. You can even see that textured grain in the spine from the goat. So it's very, very nice, very beautiful. Okay, so the ribbons go to the Omega. That's about one of the only things that I'll give the edge to, even though the ribbons aren't great. There is 4 of them, and they're a little bit higher quality than the premium Thinline. So you got those 4 ribbons you guys have probably seen before, and then you got 2 ribbons, very low quality, on the premium Thinline. They get the job done, but they're not the highest quality. They're both going to be Smith sewn, and they're both going to have head and tail bands, and the head and tail bands are actually going to be the same, if you can see that. They're the same color, that black and gold, black and yellow, whatever, and they're going to have those on both sides. Okay, the art gilding, I'm going to have to give the edge just a little bit, just slightly, to the Omega. And I mean, you can almost, on camera, they look about the same, and in person, it's just slightly different. So if you can see the Omega right here on the left, the art gilt is just a little bit darker, a little bit more distinguished. But that's, I mean, they're so similar. Okay, when you put the overlay, so you can see that the underlay, art gilt, you can see that there's more of like the salmon color on the Omega, and then on the premium Thinline, it's just a little bit less distinct in color, just a little bit lighter. And just, I mean, it's really personal preference. I like both, but definitely going to have to give the edge to the Omega in this aesthetic. Okay, so now let's go on to, my cat's trying to be in every video. Wow. Every video. Okay. All right, so looking at the inside liners. He's going to be like our mascot for the channel. His name's Coco. Okay. So the inside liners here on the premium Thinline, this is going to have a much more distinguished, much more high-end feel than the Omega. You can actually see the grain a lot better. And you can actually see, like, when I pull it, you can actually see, like, the different texture moving, and it has, it's just not as smooth and doesn't have, like, a synthetic feel, even though neither of these are synthetic. It kind of has, like, a rubbery feel. Okay, on the Omega, it's definitely calfskin. It's not synthetic. It's a very nice inner liner, but it's more smooth, and this will, over time, wear in and feel more like actual calfskin. But right out of the box, it's very smooth and just doesn't have that premium feel that the premium Thinline has. So it's something to be aware of. See, like when I'm pulling it, it doesn't have that texture pull from it. It kind of just stays stiff. And this one has, you can see it'll bend, it'll move, and it just feels a little bit higher quality. They're both going to be edge lined, which is nice. And then lastly is really just the text size. So the text size may make it or break it for you guys, because I think if you're just comparing the outside of the Bible, there's no comparison. I think that the outside of the Bible goes to the premium Thinline. But if you can see, the text is just a little bit different. The Omega on the top is going to have a 10-point font, and then the premium Thinline on the bottom is going to have an 8.5 font. But you can see that, I mean, they're very, very similar. Very, very similar in size. Line spacing is very important to me, like how spaced a line is. So let's look at that. Let's go to a text section. So I would say there's a little bit more room between the lines of the Heirloom Thinline and then the Omega. If you can see that, I'm talking about the space between the lines right here. So I think that's really cool, because I hadn't noticed that before. If you can see that, it reads better. Look at that. So you can see that there's a good amount of space right here between the lines, and then there's not as much space right there. And what that does, and you guys probably know this, that's just going to be better on your eyes. It's going to read better. So this 8.5 font is going to read maybe like a 9 or a 9.5, which is just, I think, another reason to get it. There's a lot of Bibles where they cram the text together, and this doesn't do this. This doesn't cram the text together. This is a the Omega is one of the best Bibles in print, but it seems like there's a little bit less line spacing, which is going to make it just a little bit harder to read, in my opinion. Maybe some people like that, but I think overall, most reviewers have come to the conclusion that it's not so. Okay, so this is the premium Thinline on the left and the Omega on the right. Both great Bibles. I would give the slight edge to the premium Thinline in almost every area. But hey, your opinion's just as valid as mine. You can buy these on Evangelical Bible, and you can buy this one on eBay. I think there's only a couple left, but they'll be coming up from time to time because people think this is a really low-end Bible because it's China production, but it's amazing. So try to get these before people realize they're so good. And then the Omega is always a great go-to. But if you had to choose between two, I would get the premium Thinline. All right, guys. Hope that you found this review beneficial, and I hope that you guys have a blessed rest of your day. All right, bye.